Welcome to Sunset Tribe. It is a channel dedicated to having adventures with our families in nature, whether that's overlanding, adventure biking, camping or any other adventure. On this one, me and my wife take our 3 daughters to the Kruger National Park, where we'll spend a night at Sable Hide and then another 2 nights camping at Letaba and Tsendze after we stay a night at Olifants. We believe that you have to prioritize time and memories with your children above material objects, instilling a desire to explore the real world, not the fabricated one that we live in today. If you like this, please like and subscribe our channel and enjoy this adventure. On this trip, me and my wife takes our 2 13-year-old daughters, Mila and Bella, and our 9-year-old little one, Laura, on an adventure to the Kruger National Park for a 4-day excursion. Are you ready? I'm planning a quick stopover in Hoedspruit to visit my cousin that I haven't seen in ages. This, however, takes us across Dalstroom, Leidenburg and Oorigstad down into the Louveld, and this road is just ridden with potholes. Despite the bad road conditions, the landscapes are just awe-inspiring, and as you enter the J.G. Strydom tunnel, you exit on the other side, driving around the Olifants River all the way down into the Louveld towards Hoedspruit. After a quick stop in Phalaborwa to get final supplies, we arrive at Phalaborwa Gate at about 3 p.m. So it's a scorcher of 41 degrees Celsius. It was a very bad road to get to Phalaborwa from the side of Hoedspruit, but we've checked into Phalaborwa Gate and the staff there was really effective or efficient and helpful. So we got all our bedding for the night, the keys, and apparently there was lion at Sable Hide last night for the people that slept over there, and the night before there was leopard at Sable Hide. So I think the girls are excited. Yeah. So we can book in at Sable Hide at 5:30 in the afternoon, as soon as most of the people are either back in camp or out of the park. And then you have to be out of the hide again at 6:30 tomorrow morning. So we've got about 2 hours to spare, so we'll have a drive around and then go there about 5:30 and then spend the night at Sable Hide. Really looking forward to it. As soon as we entered the park, in about 5 kilometers, we came across a clan of hyena who's hiding in the stormwater pipes underneath the road. For some reason they find our presence very amusing, and we spend a few minutes watching their whereabouts before we push on and see small game like kudu, this little steenbok, and then on to Sable Hide, where we are informed there's a pride of 3 lionesses. So Sable Hide is basically a bird watching and game viewing hide at the Sable Dam, not far from the Phalaborwa Gate. Upon check-in, you will get the keys to the gate and the ablutions together with your bedding for the night, and then you have Sable Hide all to yourself for up to 9 people. As you enter the gate, you find the hide is about a meter off the ground and completely surrounded by wooden fencing. Just outside of the hide, you've got a safe parking spot with a fireplace, some seating, a table, and all the basics you need. Littish inspects the ablution facilities, which is comprised of 2 flushing toilets and 2 basins with a 20 litre of water, and it carries her approval. The girls, however, abandon their responsibility to unpack the vehicle because they want to be the first ones that spot the line across the other side of the dam. Unfortunately, it is Dad that spotted them and there's no prizes this time. So it is 5:45 and I think it's probably still about 41 degrees Celsius in the hide itself. So I think we are preparing for quite a hot evening here. But we arrived at Sable Dam, 3 lionesses with quite a lot of elephant here around as well. So we spot the 3 lionesses. That was brilliant. and now we're just starting to settle in. The girls are making the beds. Hopefully it cools down. I don't have a lot of hope for it, but last weekend in the park, last Saturday, it was only about 8 degrees Celsius with all the snow down in KZN, and today is a scorcher of 41 degrees Celsius. So you don't choose your weather when you book so far in advance, and hopefully we can just get a bit of sleep tonight. But the sun is just setting now. Brilliant, it's beautiful here at Shipandane. 3 lionesses just got up and walked into the bush, and then we just have Elephant left here having a drink. So we'll start a fire and then make some hamburgers for tonight. Each one of the kids could choose what they want to make, and Mila's up tonight with hamburgers. So we'll have a beer in my trusty frost buddy, and then have a meal, take out the night vision and see if we can spot anything in the evening. Unfortunately, the only thing we spot while at the dam is a big Nile crocodile, which passes by every now and then.
Ja, ek sien hom. Daar's hy. Okay, gaan hier agter die boom. Daar's 'n keer waar sien jy. Wat is dit? Wat is dit hierdie bounce nou? Hy is alweer in weg. Hy swem weg. Hy swem weg van die boom. Sien jy Mila? Ja. Kijk hier.
So waking up here at Sable Hide this morning quite early, 4:30. It was quite a cold evening, to be honest. It cooled down significantly, and there was a wind coming in, and so it was really cool through the night. I had to get the blankets out. So I fixed us a coffee. The missus and the kids are still asleep. One is up, and I'm having a nice cup of coffee, and we have to be out here by 6:30, or at least packed up in the hide by 6:30, because day visitors can reach the dam in such time. But I made a deal with my daughters to say each one of the big 5 is on one of our banknotes, and if they see a leopard, for example, at 200 Rand times 3, 600 bucks. Buffaloes on the 100 Rand bill, 300 Rand, and that resets every day. The only exception is rhino is times 100, because they are so scarce up here in the northern parts, well, in the middle of the park. So it'll be 1,000 Rand for a rhino, which I hope we don't see at this stage, to be honest. Hey, jy kan nie terug aan die bed klim nie, jy moet opstaan. When we leave Sable Hide, we have to return to the Palaborwa gate to return the keys and the linen before heading to Letaba.
You won't believe it. My dad left me and my brother at home this time, but promised a all-boys 4x4 trip into the Kruger Park next April.
On our way to Letaba camp, we have some wonderful sightings, like these 2 elephants in a dry riverbed. We also see a bateleur and a vulture sharing a position in a tree, and then we were lucky enough to also spot buffalo, which makes the Big 5 sighting 2 out of the 5 so far for the day. We continue our way to Letaba with many animal sightings along the river. And as we arrive at Letaba, the ladies has an opportunity to scratch their retail itch at the convenience store at Letaba Rest Camp. So a recap on day 2 so far. We left Sable Hide this morning. with a new set of rules for our Big 5 the sighting challenge, and Mila saw the first elephant and the first buffalo, so she's $360 in the green, with another few animals left on the cards: leopard, lion and rhino. So hopefully we will see something this afternoon. But today is quite hot, but not nearly as hot as yesterday. 41 yesterday, today's high is about 31, but I haven't seen the Kruger National Park in such a state as we're seeing it now. It is extremely dry, very little water. Most of the water holes that normally has water is empty, and there's not a leaf left on most mupanis. So the rain will come soon, and in a few months time this whole area, especially around the Letaba, will be transformed and it will be green, and probably won't be able to see anything in the Kruger Park by then. Mila, are you going to share your spoils with your sisters? What's the deal you have?
I'm not telling.
Are you not telling?
No.
Are you not snitching?
No.
Just to be clear, if there's any arrangement between you girls, I have already given Mila the money. So she owes me 40 Rand change, so that I can give Mama her 60 Rand for her elephant sighting yesterday. But then you still have to pay me for my lion sighting, which was 150 from yesterday, please.
No, but you're not playing with us.
Why not?
Because
You give the money.
you told us that you're not playing
You
with us.
only-
Because it was unfair.
You only give the money.
I only give the money.
Yeah.
I don't get to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because
Daddy's eye is too good.
Oh, that's a good reason, my child. Unfortunately, our afternoon game drive is not very successful, and we have to settle for a troop of baboons who amuses us for quite an extent of time. Sê hierdie ene yoga soos in die ou dae.
These are not cute, man. Leopards.
Jullie twee fight.
Back at Olifants, we enjoy the wonderful views and vistas across the Elephants River, and then settle in for early night to make sure we get up early in the morning. It's another beautiful morning in the Kruger Park, and there's just something about this place. Nothing gets you relaxed and out of the system like a Kruger Park. Very little cell phone reception. I was trying to do a bit of work this morning, but I'm gonna need a Starlink if I want to do work in the Kruger Park. But my wife and kids are still sleeping, and I'm heading out for a drive before we pack up and head up to Letaba camp. But these early mornings, having a cup of coffee and then heading out, is just absolutely the best. So I'm really hoping to have a nice sighting or two this morning. But I wasn't out first, but I'm out at 1 minute past 6, and the gates open at 6 o'clock in the morning in September. So I'm gonna go south from Olifants past Balule into the open savanna fields. There was a lot of plains game there yesterday, trying to see if I can spot a few lion, hopefully. So just an update on how we camped this trip. We rented equipment from Go Camp in Midrand, and I've used them before. I've got the Alucab Gen 3, I think, rooftop tent, and then also a Metallian Genie trailer that's fully kitted out. Just makes sense because we do a lot of different things, you know, from motorcycle adventures to overlanding to just normal camping, and to buy different equipment for different applications, it's millions of rand. And you rent a trailer fully kitted out plus a rooftop tent for a 5-day holiday or 5-day adventure for 5 people for just over 5,000 rand. So it just makes it so much worthwhile to rent these things and not to own them. makes it easy for anybody and accessible for anybody. Anywhere else in South Africa, the warthog is basically overpopulated. But according to sun parks, there's only about 5,500 warthog in the Kruger National Park. That's the same amount of warthog as there is hyena. It's mad to think that there's only 5,500 warthog, but there's over 150,000 impala in the park. Huge difference for something that's so well established on all game farms and probably overpopulated on most game farms. Yeah, the Kruger National Park has many of these massive rivers running through it. This is the Olifants River, a bit north, the Letaba River. Then we've got the Shipandane River. And all of these valleys just mesmerizes me every time I see it. I've been in the Kruger Park for probably the best part of 40 years on an annual basis, and you just can never get tired of these views that you have around the Kruger Park. I've never seen any of these rivers in flow though, and it's a thing for me to come back and see just one of these rivers in a proper flood. Oh, there's 2 rhino. I don't think my kids are going to believe me, but I'm seeing 2 rhinos next to the hippo. Literally right next to the hippo there's 2 rhino, and I haven't seen rhino probably in the last 10 years in the park, so that's a great sighting. With all the rhino poaching that's been going on, they don't declare the numbers anymore, but in the last census of 2012 or 2011 there was an estimated 5,000 white rhino in the park. It must be a fraction of that now with the rhino poaching that's been going on over the last 2 decades, more so the last decade. I'm going to try to take a photo through my binoculars because I promised the kids if they see a rhino it's 1,000 rand, so they are going to be kicking themselves for not coming with me this morning to see these rhinos. Absolutely amazing, beautiful, absolutely amazing. Another car coming. I just want to tell them that there's actually rhino there. So all my sleepy pants is out of bed now, and I've returned and picked them up, and I think they are very jealous that they don't get to see the rhino and lose out on a possible, how much?
1,000 rand.
1,000 rands, and you lost out on it. So we're heading up north to Letaba to camp there tonight, and hopefully the girls can see a rhino again, but I doubt it. For them hopefully, for me not so much hopefully. But there, again, there's buffalo and elephant, which is easy pickings on the cards. And who has won so far, Mila? 360. Bella?
0.
0. Mama?
60.
60. Lara?
50.
50. For what?
Pooping.
Explain why you've won 50 bucks?
No.
Yeah. So who's gonna be first on the scoreboard today?
Laura.
Okay, girls. Good luck.
Hippo. Hippo.
What about hippo?
Hippo.
Yeah, I've recorded the hippo.
What?
Our afternoon drive takes us to the Letaba River Bridge, where we spot a beautiful herd of elephant, enjoying the water, playing and drinking. We are also lucky enough to have another great sighting of a pod of hippo sleeping underwater right beneath the bridge. Hello ladybug. Good morning, it is Sunday morning in the Kruger Park And yesterday afternoon, unfortunately, I ran out of memory card space, but we were on just on an afternoon drive over the Letaba bridge, where we saw one of the most unique sightings I've ever seen. It was a pod of hippopotamus that was sleeping right under the bridge, under the water. So basically just coming up, resting, taking a breather, and then they would lie underwater for a few minutes at a time. But there was barbel and tilapia eating on them the whole time, on old wounds, and also the tortoises, no, not tortoises, turtles, that was on their backs, cleaning them, swimming around them the whole time. It was quite a unique sighting, really interesting. Today we are really lucky with our sightings. We see this big herd of blue wildebeest and zebra before we push up north and then see one of my favorite sightings that you can have in the Kruger Park. We were literally just asking what's our favorite animals, and I said to the kids, mine is a buffalo. Look at this, people. And as we turned the corner, we saw the herd of buffalo just starting to cross the main road here on the way between Letaba and Mopani. And there's probably, there's nothing less than 1,000 buffalo in this herd. And I haven't seen that in many years in the park. It's quite a sighting to see a large herd like this. We've been sitting here for almost, I would say, 10 minutes, and they're still just crossing the road. One big train of buffaloes. So it's an absolute scorcher of a day. We're at Mopani, or close to Mopani, and we're at Shipandane Hide. So I've never seen this one, but basically you have to park outside, not the same as Sable Hide where you can have a vehicle entrance. So you have to park outside and then carry everything in. But it's also a sleepover hide that you can book from Mopani, and it's got a toilet, but it's locked, of course, just for the overnight guests. And then you can carry everything in through it's basically like a cattle crush all the way in to the hide. And you've got a nice braai area with tables and chairs, and then also the hide is actually very nice and cool, whereas Sable Hide was extremely hot.
Lijkt mij dat ze klein water gaat of iets sterker.
We arrive at Tsendze Bush Camp, where Dad opens the gate and we get a great campsite under a big leadweed tree.
We spot the 2 resident Scops owl at Tsendze and explore the area before setting up camp. I will never forget this adventure because I realize just how privileged we are to live in and experience the African bush.
This trip was so special to me, especially the chats around the campfire and spending time with my family while on game drives. I will forever remember this adventure.